I request people sitting at the back, please occupy seats in the front row. Please come in front. A very good afternoon, everyone. National Technology Day is celebrated on May 11 every year to honor the contribution of Indian scientific community, including scientists, researchers, and engineers. The significance of the date lies in the series of technological advancements the country achieved on the day decades earlier. On May 11, 1998, India broke into the small group of countries that hold nuclear weapons. On that day, India successfully carried out nuclear tests at the Army's Pokhran range in Rajasthan. It is after this 1998 monumental event that our former Prime Minister of India, late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, declared India a full nuclear country. On the same day in 1998, India tested its first indigenous aircraft, Hansa 3, which took flight in Bangalore. The aircraft was meant for surveillance, pilot training, and other reconnaissance purposes. The day also saw the successful test firing of surface-to-air missile Trishul. With multiple technological advancements accomplished on the same day, the Indian government declared May 11 as National Technology Day. The theme of this year's National Technology Day is promoting clean and green technologies for a sustainable future. With this, I welcome all of you to National Technology Day celebration in CSIR and GRI. We are honored to have with us Padma Shri Professor Shri Gupta sir, Mrs. Manju Gupta ma'am. Now may I request Dr. Mona Lisa to present a bouquet to Professor Shri Gupta sir. Now may I request Ms. Sabina to present bouquet to Dr. Prakash Kumar, Director, NGRI. Now may I request Dr. Kusum to present bouquet to Mrs. Manju Gupta ma'am. May I request now Professor Shri Gupta sir and Dr. Prakash Kumar, Director NGRI, to please come onto the dais. May I now request Dr. Prakash Kumar, Director NGRI, to give his opening remarks. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, all of you. Padma Shri Professor Gupta ji, Padma Shri Dr. VP Timrisha, Dr. Mohan Rao Garu, respected Madam, senior scientists, students, and admin from technical staff, all of you. I extend a very warm welcome to each and everyone and greetings to all of you on this National Technology Day. Today, we have a very special guest who actually doesn't need any formal introduction. He was the fifth visionary director of CSIR-NGRI. He was also in several key positions in India and also in international forum. During his time, I would like to say that CSIR-NGRI attained a very high height. A lot of scientific infrastructure, other developments took place here. CSIR-NGRI during his tenure took a very good turn, in a very drastic turn in scientific frontiers. And I would like to say that many of us know that his remarkable achievements about the reservoir trigger seismicity, but few of us also know that the most significant achievement the fundamental discovery of the crustal thickness in Himalaya and Tibetan region using the surface of dispersion studies is also was very fundamental. And he was the first who talked about the thickness of crust beneath the Himalaya and Tibet was double that of the continental crust. Using at that time the surface of dispersion studies. Now we found that the thickness is almost same using the sophisticated seismological and also applying a very advanced signal processing tools. Apart from this significant achievements, what he made, the other the remarkable thing what he did is leading a team of scientists and establishing the first scientific base station in Antarctica, a icy continent. And we'll all hear from him the detail about this whole journey after a while. My friends, as you all know, there is every successful man, there is a woman behind, as you all know. So with us, the woman, Mrs. Manju Gupta, madam, is here with us. We are really very happy and grateful to her that she found time and came here to grace this occasion. I would like to only say a few words about her, that she is such a noble lady, very calm, quiet, so soft. Therefore, my personal behalf and on behalf of whole CSIR NGRI, would like to extend my warm welcome to you, madam, that you came here and to all of us and gracing this occasion. Friends, as you all know, that this is the special lecture is organized on the eve of Technology Day. And this is, in fact, commemorates the significant achievement made by our Indian scientists and advancement in science and technology, and is for the successful testing of peaceful nuclear weapon in 11th of May 1998 in Pokhran, that we all know. And but this is in fact is a step we made forward in technology. And similarly, establishing a base system, scientific base systems in Antarctica at that time with a few scientists is also a remarkable step made by our Indian scientists in this regard. And so whatever the available technology at that time was used for that. And these two things made India to realize the whole world that Indian scientists are also competitive in the global scenario. Friends, to dream about the Viksit Bharat, I think the most important thing is the development in science and technology. And for the development of technology, we need to have resources, the supply of resources always continuously. And for to have a continuous supply of resources, the exploration, anticipation, and assessment of the hazard is most important. Otherwise, the other technologies cannot be well progressed. To sustain, therefore, the growth of technology, we need to have a good, a developed earth science in this country. And for this, we all know that the development in geophysics or geology is most important. Therefore, my friends, that as a custodian of earth science, geology and geophysics, our responsibility is much more in the future. Therefore, let us take the inspiration from the scientists, the work of the scientists, and work together for a better and very prosperous future. With this, I would like to stop here. Once again, sir, I would like to thank you, madam, for coming here and gracing this occasion. And thank you all for coming here to this very important function. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. As the Director Sir said, that Professor Gupta needs no formal introduction. Yet, as an official formality, I would like to call upon stage Dr. Shri Ganguly to introduce Professor Gupta.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So it is my great pleasure to stand here and in front of all of you, to our NGRI family, and who joined online and offline both. So, and to introduce a visionary leader and eminent geoscientist in India in the field of earthquake seismology and in particular reservoir ticket seismology. So Professor K. Gupta, he has he has been globally recognized for his work, as our director said, discovering the extremely thick, which was hitherto not known, at 65 to 70 kilometers below the Himalayan Tibetan plate region, and also developed the criteria to discriminate actually the earthquakes, which is natural and which is reservoir ticket. So that is one of the most significant work that he has applied globally, and finding the safe sites also for construction of the reservoirs. He has chaired steering committee of the Global Seismic Hazard Assessment, which is also one of the significant one, GSHAP, where more than 500 scientists worked with him and produced the Global Seismic Hazard Map. And that is why it is now useful for every scientist who want to work in seismic hazard. He also pioneered the gas-sided program in NGRI and taking up the detailed studies on the genesis of earthquakes in Konya region and making successful short-term predictions there. Professor Gupta, as you know, is currently the president of Geological Society of India and a member of the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board in India. He has widely published over 200 scientific papers in top-tier international journals and authored 5 books published by Springer and elsewhere, edited 21 volumes, and the list is long. One of his papers was adopted as a chapter of Open University in UK textbook on geophysics, which is one of the landmarks. And his first book on dams and earthquakes, published in 1976, was translated into Russian and Chinese language. I don't see any other scientists whose work also has been translated in Russian and Chinese language. So that's a great achievement, and it's a proud moment for all of us. He has also edited Encyclopedia of Solid Earth Geophysics, monumental of more than 1,500 pages, and that is published by Springer, where many engineer scientists also took part into it. And there are several important positions he has held, and I will only talk about the few. Member of the National Disaster Management Authority of India, Secretary to Government of India, Department of Ocean Development, and of course, Director of CSIR-NGRI, Vice Chancellor of Cochin University of Science and Technology, Director of Center of Earth Science Studies in Trivandrum, Adjunct Professor of University of Texas at Dallas, and also Research Scientist at University of Texas at Dallas. His pioneering work, one of the pioneering works, which he will be talking about now today on building Dakshina Gangothri in Antarictica, a miracle, and that book I have found very useful, and anyone can read that very easily, follow, whether you are a seasoned scientist or you are a budding scientist or you are a student. So that I must compliment on behalf of CSIR-NGRI. And he was the leader of that third Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica. And that was the challenging winter base in Antarctica and in one of the Antarctic summer of 1983 to 84. And he will be speaking more on that, so I'll not cover much. He has also led the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning System, which he spearheaded setting up of Indian Ocean Tsunami System, which is one of the best in world now recognized. And apart from this, he has many awards and honors. He is a Santi Saru Bhatnagar Prize awardee, and he has National Mineral Award for Excellence also. Padma Shri in 2006, Professor Y. Nayudamma Memorial Gold Medal Award for 2008 from Andhra Pradesh Academy of Sciences. One of the significant also is Waldo E. Smith Medal Award in 2008 from AGU, and Professor Gupta is one of the first so far scientists from the developing world to get awarded with this honor. Export Gold Medal, Professor W.D. West Lifetime Achievement Award, National Lifetime Excellence Award recently in 2022. 23 International Association of Seismology and Physics of Art Interior, that is ISPI Award. And we were fortunate that we were there in Germany to celebrate that occasion. Thank you so much, sir, for giving up those moments to us to get inspired. Professor S.P. Nautiyal Memorial Lecture in 2024, and there are many. So we honored to have him here as a speaker of this National Technology Day. And please join me in welcoming him for his lecture. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon to you, and it's such a pleasure to be here. So happy to welcome Mrs. Roy. It is here, and Degree Sab is here. Prakash is there. On Rao is up there. So such eminent people here. Really very happy to be with you this afternoon. But Technology Day is extremely important for us. Must remember that on 11th of May, 1998, we're having directors conference in Bangalore. Only Manohar Joshi, Mr. Concern, he was chairing the meeting. He adjourned the meeting after he got the news of successful completion of the Pokhran. And at that time, he said that he has to talk to many people. That meeting was adjourned at that time. That started the technological day. And when I look back, building of Dakshina Gangothri, Antarictica is no less a technical feat. I'll try to go through it, show it to you. First, few fundamentals about Antarctica. This is the largest continent with almost 40 million square kilometer of area. There is a very highly thick sheet there, almost 1800 meters. And we still don't know whether we have drilled the deepest part of Antarctica. We have gone up to almost 5 kilometers. This enormous sheet ice has depressed Antarctica by about 600 meters or so. It is also the highest continent. Elevation of Hyderabad is something like 500 or 600 meters. Average elevation of Antarctica is 2,500 meters. Driest continent, it's very difficult to believe. It will be the driest continent, 10 centimeter on average every year. There are some portions in the interior of Antarctica where it has not rained for thousands of years. This, you all know that 80% of Earth's fresh water is stored in Antarctica. And if all this water melts, what will happen? Obviously, this has been a question uppermost in our minds when we look at the small island nations, especially the Pacific Islands, the Caribbean, and everywhere. The water level goes up even by 5 meters. Lakshadweep would be all underwater. This is a very difficult situation. You would have understood the lowest temperature ever recorded, minus 88 degrees Celsius, was at Vostok. The magnetic south, geographic south poles are located there. Of course, being in the southmost, it is 24-hour day during summer and 24 night winters. It has immense resources. Largest coal bed anywhere in the world. This is in Antarctica. The Trans-Antarctic mountain belt, which is almost 2,500 kilometers long. There is an estimate of almost 150 trillion cubic feet of gas. It's very thinly populated. For the sixth largest continent of the world, summer population is 6,000. Winter, it drops out to 4,500. About 70 wintering stations as of now. This thing happened somewhere during the 1957-58. We had the International Geophysical Year. There it was declared that Antarctica should be preserved, science only, research only, doesn't need to be exploited. So all the territorial claims in Antarctica were frozen. There was an Antarctic Treaty signed by 12 member countries. I was very keen to be a part of all that was happening in Antarctica or in the southern oceans. Led to the first expedition in 1981, led by Dr. Zuhur Qasim. On there in the ship, Meteor ship, was a ship from Norway. Went there and they went to the icy continent. They spent about 12 or 15 days there. But they always slept on the ship because you cannot take the risk of sleeping on the continent. Second expedition went in 1982, led by Dr. Rana from Geological Survey of India. This I don't have to explain to all the people here with the science background. This is the time the third expedition was about to go. Moved in 1982 from Hyderabad to Trivandrum, the Center for Science Studies. Now it has become National Center for Science Studies. I was looking after it. There was advertisement for suggesting proposals for scientific work to be done in Antarctica. At that time, we precious little. Place in Antarctica. So I made a proposal to set up a network of 5 seismic stations in Antarctica. It was submitted to Department of Ocean Development. Somewhere in March, I got a call asking me to come and make a presentation. So I went there. This was all happening in the South Block. The South Block, I found there were another dozen scientists who had also submitted their proposals. My number must have been 4th or 5th. I went and made the presentation. Committee to select the programs for Antarctica was again chaired by Dr. Qasim. They discussed my program and they said that it's a very good program. This year, the stress would be that we'll try to set up a permanent base. Those days, we did not have a remote recording, etc., etc. All these 5 stations had to be manned. That's when I have to have 5 persons who will go and sit when the instruments are running to change their records, etc., etc. They said that although your program is good, but we can't afford to give you 5 people. I was leaving, they said that please wait till all the presentations are over. Qasim was a very senior person, CSIR director of NIO. He had become the secretary of Department of Water Development. Now presentations were over, I went back and said, yes, sir, what can I do for you? That although we have not accepted your proposal, we would be very happy if we agree to lead this expedition. It was a total surprise to me. I said that I must get some time to think about it. For that, I just asked that, why me? Of course, they said that you are just 40 years of age and you are director of a full-fledged laboratory. You look in good shape. You are known to be a good sports person. You have played the badminton state level, etc., etc. You have worked a lot in the Himalayas. So all these things. Let me talk. So I was very keen on this because it was something I'm very excited about such things. So I came back and I talked to Dr. V. Ramchandran, Mr. V. Ramchandran, who was the chief secretary. I was very excited. Mr. V. Ramchandran himself was an earth scientist. He had done MSc in geology from then Madras University. He had topped. He had joined Bhabha Atomic Research, not Bhabha, but Atomic Energy Commission at that time. He had some difference of opinion with the. He said, Harsh, I did the mistake out of frustration. I wrote the IAS examination. I got selected. There was no choice but to join. And yes, it is a very good program. And Shri Karnakaran was the chief minister. He was very happy about it. I said, but you talk to Manju, talk to your wife. So I called her. He had 2 daughters that time, 8 or 11 years of age, and they knew. I knew nothing about Antarctica, so they knew nothing, and they said, whatever we decide is good. So that night itself, I communicated to Dr. Qasim that yes, I will be happy to lead this expedition. Said, okay, if that is the case, then you come tomorrow to my office, we'll discuss. Next day when I went to DOD, Department of Ocean Development, was in South Block process. I don't know, many of you may be familiar with Delhi. I entered, everyone stood up because those days to be the leader of the third expedition was supposed to be very high thing. Discuss various things, and Dr. Qasim said that we must meet the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister was not that difficult in those days, so appointment was fixed for 5 p.m. that evening. Qasim took me to the Prime Minister's office and introduced me to the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister was very happy to see a young man selected to lead the expedition. Then some discussion started between Mrs. Gandhi and Dr. Qasim. Because Dr. Qasim was not totally in favor of trying to set up the permanent base in the third year. His worry was that we are too early. We have been there only twice before. We have not spent any time in Antarctica. Set up a permanent station, you need a lot more experience. Gandhi was in a rush. She wanted it to happen. So this discussion again started between the two of them. See, that was a time when a secretary could talk to the Prime Minister and argue that no, this is not correct. She said, Harsh, what is your opinion? Nothing about Antarctica. I said, madam, give me 1 week's time. Imagine कि रास्ते में डॉक्टर कासिम ने मेरे को कितना डांटा होगा गाड़ी में बैठा के। वो क्या जरूरत थी अपनी टांग अड़ाने की? तुमको क्या पता है अंटार्कटिका के बारे में? कैसे बनाएंगे स्टेशन? क्या करेंगे? मैंने कहा, उन्होंने पूछा तो मैं क्या कहता? Next 1 week, there were plans being prepared by Department of Ocean Development. But what I did that I spent a lot of time, the Soviet embassy. Those days there was only one Soviet. It was not divided. They had a lot of experience in Antarctica. There was no emails, nothing. So I used to sit for hours in the embassy to be able to talk to some expert, Antarctic expert in Moscow. They will keep on giving me notes. They will send material from flights, and they were very, very helpful. Something similar happened with the British Antarctic Survey. And I'll go and sit there from morning till evening, and they'll tell me. And among many things, 2 things that I learned. People told me that an expedition was totally written off. Why? What happens in the summers in Antarctica, the fast ice, which is about 1.5 to 2 meter thick sheet. It can take load, it can break. So the first advice was that when you take your ship, which will be loaded with the material to construct the building, whatever you need first should be put on the top of the hold. So once what happened that they went there and they could not figure out the things that were required immediately. They were down below and they could not afford to unload the entire ship on fast ice. So they came back. They showed me a small clip. That clip, they showed me that a piston bully. Piston bullies are the tracked vehicles. They have their own track like a tank. They move on ice and they can move around, etc., etc. They lowered a piston bully, 2 occupants on fast ice, and they had not tested the fast ice. So that piston bully just sank. People inside, they couldn't do a damn thing. There were some learning phases. So ultimately, I went to see Mrs. Indira Gandhi again with Dr. Qasim after a week's time. And, there were detailed plans, and she must have asked me hundreds of questions. In one half, I had no answer. That also told me how much she has studied about Antarctica. To be able to pose those questions, one must read. If you don't read, you cannot pose those questions. After that, that meeting lasted for almost 3 hours, and then she said, done. When she says done, then it is done. The preparation started. That was a time that we selected a members, and we were 81 millions. 81 team members, which consisted of 16 scientists. They were Air Force people, Army people, and Navy people. Their job was to help construction. The Corps of Engineers of Army had the responsibility of the construction of the station. For going there, we were all put to a week-long training in Machui Glacier. Machui Glacier is at a height of about 18 to 19,000 feet. It's frozen totally. Because many of the people who were going with us, they had never seen ice or snow. They had no experience. So it was very important. How do you walk? How do you find a crevices? How do you pitch a tent? I was asked to go with the center team because all 81 could not go. So there was 3 batches of 27 each. So I went with the central batch, went earlier 2 days, stayed 2 days longer. I familiarized myself with all the people. Finally, the ship Twin Polaris selected. That Twin Polaris was coming to Goa, and it had collected all the material, prefabricated material to construct Dakshin Gangothri building station. Mr. Nair was in charge. He has been responsible for putting everything together. His plans were there. I'm just showing you a slide of the ship where Mi-8 helicopter is being lowered into the ship. Here you can see old ship. You can see this barrel of oils. There were 1,000 barrels of oil which we were taking with us. Because in case we succeed in setting up that station, diesel to run the generators, that is the diesel that we are carrying with us. There was a total about 1,000 tons of building material. We are building a station, 620 square meter plinth area, square feet of covered area. Read with all these things. So the total building material for that was around 1,000 tons. Set off with the fanfare and all that. Planning somehow I feel is the most important thing for any success and a meaningful planning. So we had known that we have just about 60 days time for the ice freezes again. And if you don't leave, the ship can get ice locked. If your ship is ice locked, you are locked for next 10 months time. 60 days was the total time available to us. These 60 days also, several days would be lost in so-called whiteouts and blizzards. The whiteout. In Antarctica, when there's a wind blowing very fast, then small little ice particles get airborne. There's multiple reflection of the sun on these ice particles, which makes it so glittering that even best of the goggles cannot help you. The blizzards come, the speed goes up to 200 kilometers an hour. You can't even stand yourself. You have to be very careful. On average, the site which we were targeting, history showed that 20 to 30 days are lost every summer in blizzards and whiteouts. It gave us 30 days time for the construction of the station. All our planning is oriented towards cutting down time on various issues. Well, there were 7 days kept originally for reconnaissance. Decide where will we build the station. I cut down to 1 afternoon because we had the aerial photographs. The place was more or less seen. So I said, we'll first go by helicopter, see that place, come back, then we'll go by piston bullies. And in 1 afternoon, we should finish. Like that, there were many cutting things. We were moving towards Antarctica. Told me that the medical facilities on the ship are not adequate. Given me a room about 20 feet by 30 feet of size, which was freely available to me, and scientists were asking me to give that room to them to deploy some equipment. I said that if you give that room to us, we'll set up a hospital there. Because we are carrying everything. Suppose we succeed in setting up that station in Antarctica, we have to set up a hospital there, so we'll deploy everything here. That room to the doctors. Can you imagine how angry the scientists were? आप कुछ साइंटिस्ट और साइंटिस्ट का ख्याल नहीं रख रहे. Anyway, all these things continue. This is getting into the, and one thing which was very good was the comradeship with the team members, the twin people. We got very friendly. One of the first icebergs located at 66 degrees south. Sitting there on 40 degrees south, they are roaring 40s. There is a lot, the sea is very, very rough. There's a lot of pitching and all that. The ship goes like this. Normally, I don't get seasick. I didn't get seasick this time also. Almost everyone was seasick. Sometimes I feel that I missed something in my life. What is a seasickness is. Oh, this is an iceberg which is about 10 meters above the sea level. So it will be another 100 meters down below. Finally, we are in the fast ice, very close to Antarctica. And you can see that we have taken out the smaller helicopter. We had 2 Chetak helicopters, the Allures, and 2 Mi-8. This helicopter was taken out, and I had a survey with 2 or 3 other people. Site looked to be all right. Finally, stopped here. This is all fast ice. The fast ice that I'm talking of, 1.5 to 2 meters thick, on which we then lowered our piston bully. And we had taken a rope of 300 meters. Piston bully was hooked, that rope, and that was tied to the crane of the ship. And we moved, and when we started moving, we moved about 100 meters away from the ship. Anyway. The modus operandi there was, okay, you should not, I must mention this, that no matter how much you have read about Antarctica, not imagine what you see there. I think from NGRA, people keep on going to Antarctica. How many of you have been to Antarctica? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you share what I'm saying? It's totally different. You must have read anything and everything about Antarctica, but once you reach there, of course, a very warm welcome by these penguins. This is the station that we are trying to build. It's very small, but this is the surface block. This is the first block, floor. And as I told you, that this area is 620 square meter. Here are the details of this garage workshop, electrician workshop, diesel mechanics workshop, generator room, boiler room, daily oil store, carpenter's workshop, weekly oil storage, laboratory, dark room, surgery, base commander's office, access lane, melt tank. It's 29 items to be completed in this station. These are our 2 main tents in which we started living in Antarctica. These are the British Antarctic tents. And the beauty in these tents is that 2 persons, them, even if you have wintered there, those tents, when you are in a blizzard, you have to go out for a call of nature. And you tie up yourself with a rope and go so that you can come back. Otherwise, you can get lost. You could never come back. Our modus operandi was that the Mi-8 helicopter come and hover on the deck of the ship. The temperatures are whatever, 4 or 5 degrees. Then you imagine the downwash of the choppers of the helicopter. In that condition, you load. Chopper rises and takes the load to where the construction is on. See that if this helicopter does not accelerate properly, is swing on the load. If the swing of the load is too much, can be hazard for the aviation. What we did in the fuselage of the helicopter, a plexiglass window there, so that the flight engineer, he will lie down on the floor of the helicopter. He'll keep on watching down below that the acceleration is much or not, and keep in talking to the pilot. So that helicopter accelerates properly. Third day of arrival in Antarctica, madam, helicopter did not rise adequately. The underslung load got stuck. The railing of the ship, the chopper of the rotor blade of the helicopter hit the plane of the ship. The helicopter crashed. Actually, it crashed in water. Not crash on the ship. When it crashed on the ship, we would have been all written off. It crashed on ice, everything would have gone. It turned turtle because it was hooked with the rope. The rope snapped and it turned turtle. It turned turtle, went inside, broke open that plexiglass window and came. Seeing all this from the deck of the ship, because I was there, I immediately launched a L-word, pick these people up. L-word went there, and at the same, a rescue boat was also sent. Came down, but by that time, this photograph is a little earlier, it came down, this had gone down. They were already exposed to water. One, the other one caught hold, they started moving to the ship. Halfway through the ship, the first fell, and the second person also fell. Again, fortunately, they fell in water. This operation was stopped. At that time, the rescue boat picked up the 5 people, and the doctors had been already alerted. And that hospital room was ready. Imagine a situation on 29th of December, 1983. What would be the situation of all the people on the ship? 5 of the colleagues are deathbed, they're killed, and so crying and all that, but you cannot afford to invest time on that. After making a very short visit to the hospital room, doctor said that 2 of them are serious. May have set in. They may survive or not, cannot say, but 3 will be safe. Again went to the beach of the ship because all the communication was from the bridge. I called Dr. Kasif and told him what has happened. Everyone is listening to you. Then you have to tell madam. I cannot call madam, but within 5 minutes there was a call from office. And surprisingly, there was no protocol that somebody will say, okay, Dr. Harsh Gupta there, madam will like to talk. He was there. She said, Harsh, everyone's safe. The whole situation to her. Been exposed to hypothermia or water for a long time. That they survive or not, I cannot say. Right. Question. Can you still do it? I've never said no to anything. And my instantaneous reply was, if I don't do it, I don't come back. There was a very long silence. In silence, like, go ahead and do it. I realized that silence later on. I realized that here is a 40-year-old man saying that if I don't do it, I'll not come back. She's a prime minister. Nothing further happens. People say, आप गधी था क्या? वो अकल नहीं थी, वो तो आदमी था, young man था, उसने कहा मैं करूंगा, अब बुला लेना चाहिए था वापस. In that 25-30 seconds, she made her own assessment. This can be done or not done, whether to believe what her she's telling, etc., etc. That we went to the base camp, called everyone. What has happened? Tell you, there was a war cry. We shall do it. All army people. That the way the work started. See, I had to switch off generators at 10 p.m. 24-hour light. People will not quit working. Make them sleep. Of the generator. 5 a.m. Which of them? So they get 7 or 8 hours. This is what you can see with the helicopter, the work continuing. Well, now this is laying the rough foundation. This house you cannot build on ice. Build a house on the ice, there can be differential settlement. There is no differential settlement, you have to put a rough foundation. This is a 620 meter rough foundation, which is put by digging about 1 to 1.5 meter into the ice and putting these planks together, building them. Now by 15th of January, we started looking like ground floor, first floor, people are working. Here, everyone was free, which is scientific work. Go and ask Major Nair, what can I do? Major Nair said, do this, dig here, take this paper, this block from here to there, every kind of thing. And people work round the clock. That time, many people started complaining of the injuries. What happens that you dress yourself up, then you walk hard, so sweat. Some of us sweat on our feet. There's sweat on your feet, and then you sit down to relax. That sweat, because of low temperature, freezes. And if you don't change then you get the cold injuries, you can lose your toes, etc. Whenever people reported of cold injuries, I'll send them to the ship. Get somebody else to work in their place. The aerial view of the station under construction, there are two blocks. Fires are very common in Antarctica. So these two blocks are connected with a flimsy corridor. So if by unfortunate circumstances something gets bad, at least one block would be saved. That was a time I went to visit nearby Soviet station. Thing which was done, see that these are the thermals that you wear on the legs. Here is the captain of the Russian, so he was staying here, he had just come out. See, I'm not wearing those thermals. I did not wear thermals. I had just long john and jeans on it because it's not cold. I not complain it's cold. Sometimes I would shiver because of cold. My response to them was just do spot running. If you run for 5 minutes on the spot, warm up, you don't feel cold. When I told him, Captain, that we are building the station, etc., etc., are you crazy? Has anyone done it? Well, he had a laugh of his life. I asked him how long you have been here. He said 3 years. I said, don't feel like going to Soviet Union? He said, enough vodka here, so nothing has to worry. Finally, the fast ice is gone. The ship has moved to the shelf. So now there is no need to take the stuff from helicopters because we have not carried many things by helicopter after the accident. From now, the piston bullies will carry everything on the sledges to the station. Fortunately, I have a chances of hoisting India flag on 26th of January, many places. This 26th January 1984 is probably my proudest flag hoisting, which was in Antarctica. And again, you will see that everyone is in those. Harsh Gupta. So gentleman came again because I had called him and he couldn't see that how much work we have done. Another view, the station is getting completed. We have painted it. I would say many days were lost in storms and whiteouts. I'm not going to those details. Finally, by around 23rd or 24th of February, our station is ready. Has told me that Dr. Gupta, we must leave on 1st of March. Don't leave on 1st of March, we'll get isolated. Station is ready. It's a beautiful station, medical room. Laboratories. Laboratory. Irrigation room. Toilet. was all ready, and during that time, we also made a visit to the Walthorp Mountains, which is the highest mountain. The captain of the Elwood, after he refused to switch off the engine, he said, if my engine does not start again, we are stuck here for good. You can see the wind speed, flag is horizontal. Very exciting time. The question comes, the station is ready, and leave those people there and come back. The station collapses, something happens. So I again called Dr. Kasim. Now it is 25th of February. Kasim says that please take a call yourself. We are on the spot. Cannot advise from here. How do I make sure that this station would survive? Talking. For good luck, 25th of February, there was a blizzard. It was lasted for 3 days, 26, 27. So those 3 days exceeded the record speeds which were reported for that place. It shall survive. The small little problems which the engineers who are going to stay behind were able to fix. So it appeared to be everything is going to be fine. Thank God, 1984. Free at 29 days. I had one extra day. On that extra day, everything shifting of one place to other place, everything was done. Things like bidding people bye-bye, everything was done, and we finally left. This I gave you an overview of technical parts of it. The scientists worked immensely. This is the report. The scientific work, I'm going to leave a copy with the director, and he can put it in the library or wherever. Each scientist, every one of them, has a 18, 20-page long paper. So the amount of work these people carried out is immense. It resulted in at least half a dozen papers in high impact journals. This was just the report. This made us very, very happy. This is Shimata Hill Base Camp, meteorology, geology. The entire Shimata Oasis was mapped for the first time. There was magnetic observatories. All these things were carried out. There are reports about it. We look back that how did we succeed in accomplishing this task, for which there was no previous case of people setting up and populating a permanent nation in Antarctica in one Antarctic summer. We have done it. When I look, I think there were excellent preparatory interactions among people and whatever we did. Really, I have come to this conclusion. There is no replacement for teamwork. For any scientific institution, for everything that you do, it is the teamwork which leads you to success. Loading and reloading of the whole of the ship. Plexiglass window in the fuselage of M8 helicopter. Allotment of 2 rooms per ship, medical facilities. If that had not happened, people would have gone. After crash, subsequent commitment, if I do not complete it, I do not come back, became a war crime. Lifting of the inquiry after the helicopter crash. After the helicopter crash, there was immediately a message from the Air Force that I should set up an inquiry. How did helicopter crash? Sent a message to the PMO office that if I get busy with this inquiry, how will any work will be done? Within 1 hour, that inquiry was lifted and said that when you come back, we'll do it. There was no inquiry made ever. Strong blizzard the last week of February and Gangothri withstood. This is the most sensitive points. When we were coming back, I found my colleagues who had lost their toes. कहते सर तो आप हमको शिप पे भेज wanted to work. Kind of a commitment. Member works day and night. Now you look at this 620 square meter built on a rough foundation. Many of you have built your houses. If you ask me to do it in India today, seriously, I will not be able to. Any one of you will not be able to. नहीं मिलेगा. On our return, we were a hero. We were in Mauritius. So Jagannath, the Prime Minister, comes and meets, and then we invited him to the ship, sent the Chetak, he came. It was a very huge coverage all over. How I looked like at the time, sitting in my room, small room, the ship. It's a very wide coverage. Many of you were not born at the time. Dharmi used to be a very popular magazine. It was carried almost everywhere. And this is me, and this is a thing of Geological Survey of India. It May is also very important for me because on 28th May 1984, it's told that Prime Minister has given 6 June as a day debriefing of the. All went to Delhi, and in Vigyan Bhavan the debriefing was held. He met all the people. Originally, she had given 30 minutes time, and 30 minutes with us. It was just like that. Harsh, coffee nahi pilaoge? There's no plan of coffee. Somebody ran to get coffee for her. किसी ने कुछ सैंडविच भी ले आया. सैंडविच टच कर कहती यहाँ की सैंडविच हमेशा ड्राई होती. He ran to get a good. In the process, she spent more than 2 hours. Very happy. We realized 6 June 1984, Operation Blue Star was on in Delhi. She wanted to be away from the and all that, so that she doesn't keep on getting. But she was assassinated. There was a call that they wanted me to be a part of the procession. The cabinet secretary called me within half an hour. There is no guarantee of your security, so take your own risks. So of course, people said there's no need to go. Entire year of 1984 was on tenterhooks. Remember that Arunachalam was a scientific advisor. At Dakshina Gangothri was in touch with him. Every day they will complain. The obvious tendency that Arunachalam was a very senior person. Some will call me. हर्ष तुम उनको वहां पर छोड़कर आ गए, ये हो गया वो हो गया. मैंने कहा सर वो तो होता ही रहेगा. Entire 1984, people came back. Not came back till the 4th expedition went there and reported they are all set on tenterhooks. And of course, we presented the team to Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, who had become the new Prime Minister, 2nd of July 1985. Of course, he was very happy about it, everything. So, things that happened. This is the stamp which brought out depicting Dakshina Gangothri. The Dakshina Gangothri of 1988, up under the ice. You should sit here now, you can't see. What happened that 2001, went to Delhi, became Secretary of Department of Ocean Development. Only when you occupy a new office, you would like to see what are the urgent things that you need to do. I realized that there was no clearance for the Antarctic program. Of India rules are that any program which costs more than 100 crores should have cabinet clearance. I talked to Dr. Murali Joshi, who was our minister, said yes, we must put it up. We must put up cabinet clearance of this program. Was scheduled on a particular day. The date was scheduled. Dr. Joshi called me and said that Harsh, I'm not feeling too well, but you know inside everything, so you will be able to tell. मैंने अटल जी को बता दिया कि मैं नहीं आ रहा हूँ. It was possible to tell the Prime Minister that I'm not coming. Harsh is coming. He'll tell everything. He went there. Everything. Ishwant Sinha, जो हमारे फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर थे ना उस टाइम में, ये आसमी आपको DOD ज्वाइन करे, 8 दिन हुए हैं, क्या जरूरत पड़ गई थी? I joined DoD only 8 days ago, or a month ago. I've been involved with Antarctica from 1983 onwards. He said, how? That story. They listened to the entire story that I told you. I compressed it for about 15 or 20 minutes time. Whatever I requested, cleared the Antarctic program for the next 3 years of that 5-year plan. They charged Department of Ocean and Environment with setting up a new station. That's what Bharti is today. The foresight of this gentleman, who so much interest of a program, did not say कि इंदिरा जी की तो आदत थी सारा काम छुपा के करने की. So, appreciated it. So hats off to him. Keep on changing. 2004, there's again change of government. Kapil Sibal becomes the minister. He's very keen to go to Antarctica. He sent him a proposal 2 or 3 times. It went and came back. The thing was so bad, Mohan Rao, that we have to leave tomorrow afternoon, and this morning the file again comes from Prime Minister's office. I said, Kapilji, आप वो file मेरे पास भेज दीजिए. I don't want to send it through you. I'll send it directly. So, I mean, there is a Brahma Vakya. मतलब it's that public interest. Set it straight to the Prime Minister's office within 1 hour. The private office PA of Prime Minister cannot overrule a secretary who is stating that is in public interest. He overrules that means he's saying that it is not in public interest. By that time, no need to go by ship. We went by the solution plane. And I visited Dakshina Gangothri. It's all under snow by this time. And we have already built Battery, the next station, which is on hard rock, total hard rock. You get such beautiful auroras. I'm saying, wonderful to be in Antarctica. And the brisk air, you don't catch cold in Antarctica. Actually, when the fresh team comes, the wintering party is not allowed to mix with them. Should stay separately. Because the party which has come from, they are carrying all kind of germs, and these people have become immune. You expose them, they will catch cold and all kind of problems. So there is a time of almost 1 week that they have to settle. Chief Medical Officer was leader of expedition in 1992. Wrote me a mail. He said, sir, 1992, caught fire. All the edible oil was burnt. Our generators were also destroyed. We still had too much time to wait for the next team to come. We walked over to Dakshin Gangothri. We dug open 6-7 meters of ice, Dakshin Gangothri, and found edible oil there. We took it, and we also took 1 generator, which we survived for the 2 months before the team came. 2024. Years have passed. This year, we celebrated 40 years of creation of Dakshin Gangothri. NIOT, at NCPOR, National Center for Polar and Oceanic Research. They put up all these photographs. You know, talking of an era where here's a Prime Minister sitting next to her is Shivraj Patil. The Secretary, Dr. Qasim, is sitting 3 seats away. Any of a laboratory go and sit next to the Prime Minister and not let the Secretary sit next to her, Minister sit next to her. The kind of things we experienced. This is a photograph from putting this. This is actually waste disposal. Beautiful. My wife going this 40 years of Antarctic thing. Excellent thing there. Just last week, where I studied, called me, George in Missouri, for half-day program, asked me to interact with the children, tell them all about it, how I looked like when I went to the school. Thanks for your patient hearing. Indeed, very grateful to all the members. We are constantly in touch. All the members, many of us have departed. Meet every 10 years. We met in 2013. We met in 2023. I hope we'll meet in 2033 also. Anjali Krishnan is daughter of Manju's best friend. Helped me a lot in formatting this book. So Subbarao, you know, all of you, A.V. Subbarao, was very helpful. Stephen Forte, he was a person, Mauritius. He had all the documents. He gave me all those documents for complying to that book. Mr. M. Ravichandran, Dr. M. Ravichandran, Rajan Krishna. Thanks to Prakash and Devinder for all this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Indeed, you have proved that science is not limited to our office space or our laboratories. It is way adventurous, way full of hardship, but satisfying for a scientist who is committed to work for his nation. Thank you so much, sir. For your wonderful work. Now, may I request Professor Gupta to release the book titled Reservoir Characterization, Modeling, and Quantitative Interpretation, Recent Workflows to Emerging. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, sorry. Any query?
Percent of the area has exposed rocks.
But why did we not go? Gangothri was not built on the rock. Why did we choose this?
Sure. The hard rock is so far away. We could not have carried material all the way to build there. So we built this station, and then hard rock station took almost 3 years to be built. From this station, everything was stored here. Then we'll go to the hard rock area, build there. Only 2% of Antarctica is hard rock exposed, 98% are snow.
Sir, I have only one query. That accident happened, na, that there are two people became very much serious. Whether they did they alive or not. That
Very much alive. Okay.
Thank
Thank you very much. Very much alive.
Is there any documentary related to this one to show to the school children?
Documentary, there is a book. This book has been also translated into Hindi. That book is here. Available from Geological Society of India. Then Hindi version is just now published about 3-4 months ago by National Book Trust. And they have pricing just about 65 rupees. We want to popularize it among the school children.
Can we translate it into Telugu for local people?
You ask this Indian Book Trust, might like it. Very important question. In fact, when I was in the Department of Ocean Environment, came up with a book, Story of Oceans, that is translated into 13 Indian languages. That is about 50-page long book, has all the duties of the ocean, different languages. Yes, please.
We have a movie like Pokhran, 1994. So I think this story cannot be less than that. I think we can it be like made in such a way that we can come for the public of India?
I'm having a problem there. That's with possible producers. we want to buy the book outright. All the rights. They've quoted me up to 1 CR. You give that book, all the CR. I'm not agreeing to it because I don't want any character of the book screwed, to make it attractive. And all I like people. So I'm insisting that I should be a part and parcel to see how you develop. That's where the problem is.
But it's a true story.
I remember in 98 that they said NGRI had done some work. And
After that Pokhran experiment,
yeah,
I looked at the Pokhran experiment and we did the spectral analysis of the signals generated by the Pokhran experiment all over the world.
okay.
And then there was also a experiment carried out by this is a paper, Spectral Characteristics of the 11th May Pokhran and 28th May Shanghai Nuclear Explosion.
Okay.
The basis of this work showed most of the energy Pokhran was in very high frequencies, as you expect for a nuclear source to be. As against that, the Shanghai experiment appeared to have energies in lower frequencies. Here I have concluded it looks as if they have put a hill on fire. Put a hit full of explosives. And the kind of signal that will produce. So I'm not very sure whether Shanghai nuclear explosion was really a nuclear explosion.
Because I still remember those days
This is
that everybody was, very quiet about it and nobody
but-
was openly talking about that NGRI did this.
this has
Scientists that Pokhran, we were also involved.
yeah, this is published. It's in current science. You have also done some work. Yeah?
Any other queries?
Happy to.
These are not queries, these are general comments, sir. So, Gagan Gupta, NCRT, he has given his regards to sir, that we are looking forward to listening to Professor Gupta. And that is all. No other queries are there online. But in that case, I have a small query, sir. The stations like Gargi, nowadays they are temperature controlled. That when you are inside, you don't feel that cold. So was this Gangothri also, or people? It's
Of course. In Gangothri, we maintained a temperature of 15 degrees Celsius. The outside temperature is -10, -15, -30. Why we made it 15 degrees Celsius? Because 15 degrees Celsius is cold. I mean, in India, on 15 degrees Celsius, we'll put on a woolen. Because you want to get acclimatized. Living in Antarctica for some time, there is no breeze. The sun is there. I walked around in a shirt because you acclimatize yourself.
Any other queries?
This is not a scientific question. As a Dakshin Gangothri Antarctica, as a common man's, if they want to visit that place, so how they can visit? As a researcher, scientist, so the systematic manner they used to go there for their experiment and research work. As a common man, I'm just telling.
Common man can go to Antarctica. There are many tours now being organized. The tours go from South America, the tip, then they take you on a ship to the Antarctica, and they have daytime tours of Antarctica. Come and sleep on the ship. It's pretty common. It's cost you about 2.5 to 3 lakhs.
Sir,
They are not living there now. When men started living, they create the problem. When you go in the morning, come back in the evening.
Sir, I read the book a few days before. It is like a motion picture. Still the station is under the ice or it fell under the sea, sir? It is still under the ice or this Gangothri station gone to the sea? And
You cannot get to the sea because the base is ice.
okay, sir.
There is it has not gone down.
Hmm.
Ice has grown on the top of it.
Okay.
It's still there.
Hmm.
There's a marker I didn't show you. Even if you now, maybe you have now to drill some 20 meters to get into it.
Okay.
Sir, I have some small doubt questions. Is Brunton compass work in that South Pole?
London campus would not.
Is how you
The
will
South
find the
Pole
target?
is just there. So it will just show that it will not work freely the way it should work.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, I have a very general question. If this station was built very close to the coastline, due to this global warming, all the glaciers are melting, right? So does it have any effect on the station?
Good question. I'm glad you asked. See, chunks of Antarctica are being broken. 2022, one chunk was bigger than almost whole London, which broke up, moved out. But this station is in a place which is not shedding shelf. There's some portions of Antarctica, the exterior are getting cracked and moving out as glaciers. That's not happening.
In future, it can be, right, sir?
Sarah, can't say.
Thank you.
Again, very important question. There is something known as sastrugi. Sastrugis are the formations on the ice, which are just like a ripple on ice. And that tells you the direction of wind there. When you select a site of the station, it should be crevice free. The wind direction should be such that its impact on the station would be minimum. These wind directions of the past are estimated from sastrugis. The study of sastrugis gives you the orientation of the station, that which way it should be oriented, so that it offers the least resistance to the station. Thank you.
Sir, my question is in general. So, in general, in TV or whatever, we see icebergs are of very irregular shape. But in your slide, you showed the iceberg which is completely like rectangular and flat. How does it form?
Special for Harsh Gupta. They're all of all kind of all shapes, but it so happened that they are called the tabular icebergs. Okay, icebergs are also classified. These are one of the tabular icebergs. Tabular icebergs which look like it. Icebergs are like that. The site was suggested by the second expedition. We had that idea, but after going there, the site which was selected by second expedition, I rejected that. I selected another site which was about half a kilometer from there, because the sastrug is there, very favorable.
I think Dr. Behra told that the Pokhran experiment and this experiment. Pokhran was, of course, a very remarkable. We just few days back we heard Chidambaram Saab. But there was no life risk in Pokhran. What I suppose it was an experiment of the highest order, but no life risk. Here, every time I think after seeing what slides we have seen, the fear will come because once, as you said, that once you go there, then only you know what is happening. And for staying for months together and setting at, and I think it is mind-boggling when the highest order, how people came out of the fear that what will happen tomorrow. Because such a unbelievable. Unless you go there, you have done there, you may not realize this. Thank you so much, sir.
See, that decision to leave those 12 people behind, such a tough decision. If something wrong had happened to them, the blame will come on Harsh Gupta. Why did you leave them? I brought them back easily. Same question, of course, a much higher person. Prime Minister had when she said, go ahead and do it. They easily called us back. Sometimes you have to take some bold steps. On the time.
Any more queries? So we'll move ahead with our program. So now I request Professor Gupta to release the book titled Reservoir Characterization, Modeling and Quantitative Interpretation, Recent Workflow to Emerging Technologies, edited by Dr. Shiv Shankar Ganguly and Dr. B.P. Dimri, published by Elsevier. May I also call upon stage Dr. B.P. Dimri. Please come on. Thank you. May I now request Dr. V.P. Dimri to please give us some light on the book.
Good afternoon. The book entitled Reservoir Characteristics, Modeling and Quantitative Interpretation, the recent workflow in emerging technology by Ganguly and myself. The content is delivered through an inductive approach which will help readers gain comprehensive insight into advanced practice and be able to relate them to other subsurface or reservoir characteristics, including CO2 sequestration, storage, and data-driven modeling. Topics covered include 4D seismic technology, fracture characterization, multi-scale imaging technology, and static and dynamic reservoir characteristics, among others. The source is a 21st century guide for the exploration geologists, geoscience student at the postgraduate level and above, and petrophysicists working in the oil and the gas industry. Key features of the books are as follows. It covers the latest and the most effective technology in reservoir characteristics, including AVO analysis, AVZ inversion, wave field separation, and machine learning technique. Second, it provides a balanced blend of the both theoretical and practical approaches for solving challenges in descent characterization. And third, it includes detailed industry standard practical workflow along with the course structure for algorithm and practice exercise. So do purchase the book, that is the normally author says. You should purchase the book. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Ganguly. May I now request Dr. Prakash Kumar, Director, NGRI, to felicitate our chief guest with a shawl and memento. May I now request Dr. Anand K. Pandey to please deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, Professor Gupta, Padma Shri, Dr. Timri, Padma Shri, Dr. Mohan Rao, Mrs. Gupta, and all our seniors present here and colleagues. I thought I'll speak something more, but today is also the theme of the National Technology Day is to innovate and for the young students. So it's kind of from school to startup, ignite young mind to innovate. Probably this talk was one of these startup of the taken up by the government of India for the starting a new scientific innovation. Definitely we have come a long way from there. And there is no better person to eloquently explain everything involved in it. And we thank you very much, sir, for making us have a journey to the South Gangothri and then rest of the things we know every day. Probably trying the message, I don't know, so I didn't say, but I thought probably for all our young students and all, especially I say intentionally students because it is actually mean this one of the theme. When you start PhD, a lot of things you don't know, and when you go to field, then you start innovating, and so you think of it like it's a very small, it's pretty big at that time, but now we don't see when Professor Gupta said with minister, we just flew by and stayed there in the public interest. It's very important that had that step not been taken in 84, probably we may not have flying there. And with that, I thank you very much, sir, and on behalf of everyone. So I would appreciate it. We should have a big round of applause for that. And any function, a lot of things has been done behind the scene, and it is very appropriate to acknowledge all the behalf of organizers. I acknowledge everyone who has contributed to the success of this function. Most important is the young people who asked a lot of questions. And okay, I'll not read it. I just, while Pandit Sahab has asked a question, like it was very difficult or defining moment. So once question was asked from a great anthropologist, when you think the civilization started, and everybody was expecting like some hooks or something she will tell. But she said they found a healed femur of a old human being. And probably that was the beginning of the civilization. So because in animal kingdom at that time, if you are injured, you are gone. So somebody must have taken care of. Similarly, as you said, sir, those people fell into the sea and then has been taken care of. And then things happened onward. So it is very important to see, like, take a first step and nurture the people at that time. With that, I thank you very much and thank you all. Thank you.
I request everyone to please stand for national anthem. Please join for high tea at car parking.
Party.